Welcome to Sankalp class. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the non-cooperation movement which was launched by the Mahatma Gandhi in the year September 1920. So in today's session, we are going to discuss the various aspects of the non-cooperation movement. Congress, at its special session of Kolkata in the September 1920, approved the non-cooperation movement. But in the later time period, the Nagpur session of Congress in the December 1920 enacted it. Means the proposal given in the Kolkata sessions later on acted in from the Nagpur session. Let's recall. Already we discussed about the causes of the non-cooperation movement. So from that first is your Revolt Act. You know this Revolt Act was passed in the year 1919 in the horrible manner through the Imperial Legislative Assembly. Basically, it meant they had to arrest and detention of the Indians without any trial for 2 years. So these had imputed the nationalists and the other leaders. Gandhiji decided to use Satyagraha to oppose it. After the Revolt Act, another one incident on the 13th April 1919 at the place Amritsar, Punjab, all the people gathered to celebrate the Kal Baisakhi festival at that particular place. So while they all gathered in the celebration of Kal Baisakhi festival at the particular place called Amritsar, at that time the General O. Dyer gives the order to General R. Dyer to make open fire. As a result of that open fire, it kills hundreds and shocks and enrages the Indian population, and that is called the Jallianwala Bagh incident, or also it can call Himalayan blunder incident. Also it is known as the Ganhatya incident. Under the Khilafat issue, there is a movement or a parallel movement initiated by the Indian Muslim to protest against the dismantling behavior of the Ottoman Caliphate by the British after the First World War. So Gandhiji also supported this movement in order to bring the Hindu-Muslim unity from the world platform to Indian platforms. So let's come to the non-cooperation movement and its features. Under the non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji's main thought is or emphasized was basically upon the non-violence and civil disobedience. Means without any kind of violence, without any kind of violent activities, the movements must spread from one part of the country to another part. At the simultaneous time, surrender of the titles and honorary positions, just like the persons like Rabindranath Tagore and many others. And their main name was Swaraj. Swaraj means self-government, and their self-government was a peaceful and legitimate means as part of the non-cooperation movement. Gandhiji planned the movement in stages, initially by boycotting the different goods, by giving the resignation in the government, institute different kinds of advocates, also the headmasters and the students leave the school. Not only that, if the government responded with the repression, the movement would escalate to a civil disobedience and non-payment of taxes. That was the main aim under the non-cooperation movement. Again, boycott to the foreign goods means definitely we are going to promote the Swadeshi goods that is produced with the help of khadi and charkha. And non-payment of taxes. That non-payment of taxes basically we can call no tax campaign movement launched in the area called Bordoni. And promotion of the Swadeshi principle means we have to include our principle of spinning and weaving, that is charkha and khadi. Thousands of volunteers went door to door persuading people to adopt the Swadeshi goods. The book Hind Swaraj or Indian Home Rule, written by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi or Gandhiji. He told that as the cooperation gained by the Britishers from Indians, that's why they are able to rule here. But without any proper cooperation from our side, they will not rule in India. It means non-cooperation. No cooperation movement is equal to non-cooperation movement. Cooperation movement, economic impact. As the economic impact, as we boycotted the foreign goods, definitely liquors are also picked. As a result of that, the import of the foreign cloth was basically halved between the 1921 to 22, meant 102 carat, that's just shifted to 57 crore. Merchants and traders, they refused to trade in the foreign goods or finance the foreign trade. Production of Indian textiles, mills and handlooms went off because of the Swadeshi movement. But in the later time period, there is the reasons behind the slowing down of this particular movement, because it was very much difficult for the poor people to afford the khadi as comparison to the mill, because mill cloth was very less expensive as compared to the khadi cloth, and khadi cloth was more expensive. In that absence of the sufficient alternative, Indian institutions, students and teachers began to resume at their old working place, as we don't have that much kind of scope for them. At the simultaneous times, the same applied to the lawyer who resumed in their work as per the government norms. And Gandhiji finally withdrew this non-cooperation movement because of a turning violent, immediate cause of the Chori Chora incident in the year 1922, where 22 policemen were killed. Also, Satyagrahi were not properly trained for the non-violence mass struggles. The movement in the towns, let's look to that part. In the middle class participation, students they left the government schools, teachers resigned from their job, lawyers left their legal practices. The council election were boycotted except by the Justice Party in Madras, because the Justice Party was composed of the non-Brahmins, but other parts they boycott this particular council election, as also part of that the movement becomes slowed down. Again, the peasants of the Awadh movement, a sannyasi named as the Baba Ramchandra Sannyasi, Fiji indentured labor, who returned to India, he addressed various kinds of problems, like the talukdars and landlords demanded high rent, and they forced the peasant to do the beggar, means without any payment they have to work, no security of their tenancy tenure, they had no right over their leased land, and also were regularly evicted. So the demand of the peasant during that particular time is to reduce the revenue as well as to abolition this beggar, means without payment working system, to boycott it. And finally, they also boycotted the different types of oppressive landlords through the organization of panchayats and support through the Nai Dhobi Ghat. This Nai Dhobi Ghat movement promote there the barbers and the washermen will not support the oppressive landlords at any cost. Awadh Kisan Sabha या Awadh Kisan Sabha were organized by the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. That aim was to integrate the farmers with the non-cooperation movement. So they had branched of 300 in different parts of that particular towns. Finally, the peasants indulged in the violent, disruptive activities, looting the bazaar, attacking the merchant, taking over the hoarded grains. They used the name of the Mahatma Gandhi to justify their stance. Finally, it was decided to make a clean-up withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. And the tribal peasants also learned from the good hills of the Andhra Pradesh by Alluri Sitaram Raju, who was inspired by Gandhiji, but the thought of violence was necessary to liberate India, means inspired from the Gandhiji thought, but Alluri Sitaram Raju never supported towards the non-violence thought. He took the path of the violence thought, and Alluri Sitaram Raju finally through the guerrilla warfare defeated the Britishers, and finally all the tribes people they thought, just like the Birsa Munda has a vision of the golden age, like that Alluri Sitaram Raju has a spiritual power and as a man of the God. Under the Indian Immigration Act, the plantation workers of the Assam are not allowed to leave their tea garden without the permissions. So that created anger among the tea planters, as there is no freedom. So following their notion of Swaraj, they defied the authorities, came out from the garden and left for home, but they could not reach home due to the strike made by the railways, and they were caught by the policemen and brutally beaten up by them. So this is all about the non-cooperation movement in the various stages, in the towns, in the countryside, for the tribals, for the Swaraj planters. For the Swaraj planters, this is also the Swatantra Bharat. Let's come to the map work. The map work of your place Punjab, protect against the Revolt Act 1919, Amritsar. Then your Jallianwala Bagh incident, that is Amritsar. Ahmedabad labor dispute. Kheda, your peasant remission of your taxes. Then you move to the area called Chori Chora, withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. Then you see Champaran in Bihar. Then you are able to see 1920 sessions of September from the Kolkata, then towards the Nagpur. All these are the map practice questions. Kindly practice it on map. Thank you. Have a nice time.